Hey everybody, it's Highly Alchemist, and welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. In the last episode, we had a rather jolly Christmas time at Freezeezy Peak. We lit up a Christmas tree, and we also picked up some presents. And of course, we're going to be Santa Claus for a bit by delivering some presents over to Boggy's kids. Because if a fucking failure of a father wouldn't, then of course we can, because we are that much of good Samaritans. And so, by delivering these presents, we of course get a Jiggy. Because, you know, since Boggy himself is a failure, he lied to his kids about fetching those presents, only to just completely just forego that and focus on sled racing. And, of course, getting a Jiggy, which he shouldn't have done, because, you know, Jiggies are not edible. So, well, as you already know in this episode, we're, of course, going to be finishing off Freezeezy Peak. Well, I should say semi-finishing off Freezeezy Peak, which I will explain a little later. First off, there's Boggy right up there. And he is actually up for some sled racing. And you would think that we are going to be joining in on that, but unfortunately he says that we are too big for his sled. You're one to talk, because you are rather big and rotund yourself. Or maybe he kind of does, maybe he kind of do fit on the sled, but, you know, bottom line is, we can't really race because, you know, as he said, we are, you know, quote-unquote too big to race on a sled. And so, we are going to have to do, well, I guess it takes a certain transformation to be able to do some sled racing, am I right? And yeah, since, for some baffling reason, Rare did not put any wading boots right on the other side. They only placed wading boots right near Mubba's hut. So the only way we can ever get there is just by swimming over the freezing water. I really don't know why they just couldn't take the time to just put wading boots right there when we really need them, and instead just force us to go across the water. That's just kind of a bad design choice. And there's a yellow ginger right up there and some music notes, so it's a good idea to check everywhere Mumbo's hut. So, with this transformation, I'll give you a hint. I am the Eggman. They are the Eggman. I am the walrus. Goo goo choo. And of course, we have gone all fat and got big teeth. Because, you know, being the walruses we are very blubbery. Which, you know, I guess is something that walruses do need. They do need all the blubbery fat in order to survive the wintry cold. At least from what I know about walrus biology. So anyways, as a walrus, well, as a walrus, we are, of course, very slow. The speed has rather decreased a bit. However, we are now able to safely travel across the cold water. Very much like the swamp water on Bubble Swamp, where we are the crocodile transformation. So that's actually kind of a good thing for us, seeing as we are completely immune to cold water. And also, as a walrus, we are able to race against Boggy because, well, because I guess apparently we can just fit on the sled just fine. So anyways, what this kind of race entails is that, you know, for the, you know, the obvious thing, just beating Boggy over to the finish line, what this one entails is that, you have to go through these red slalom gates, and once you go through them, then they just highlight to green. Well, just for each of them you go through, then they just, they go from blue to red, and then you just go through those, go through the red ones. Here's the catch though, make sure that you don't fall behind, because if you go too far behind from Boggy himself, then, he will actually forfeit the race, and you'll have to start this all over again. So just make sure you don't fall behind. And, he will also try to catch up to you, so it does, get a little bit challenging here and there. Fortunately, there are some bridges that will appear and get across them, so that way they're, you know, just going across the gap between the land and the water. If you do fall into the water, then you will very much slow down or come to a halt tremendously, and it can actually affect the race. There's also a little trick to gain some speed. If you constantly tap the A button while you're going up the slopes, you actually do gain some speed, so that way there it gives you more of an advantage to get to the finish line. And they're very much conveniently placed near the finish line like that right there. And so with that, we are able to win our Jiggy for beating Boggy, and now he wants to race someone his own size, and so that, of course, gives us the ability to race against Boggy as regular Banjo and Kazooie. Unfortunately, we can't really do that right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and explain that after this kind of particular mission right here. And so, now that we're Walrus, this means that Waza is very friendly to us because, well, we're actually just a bear bird in disguise. And so, not only are we able to get the Jiggy from him, we can actually gain access to Waza's cave. And, of course, add to that he is an absolutely racist walrus. Not only does he, well, not only because he only accesses his own kind and just completely rejects bears, and birds as well. Actually, yeah, not just bears. Yeah, he also calls Kazooie his the smelly bird partner. Or I mean the ugly bird partner. Actually, yeah, he's actually that much of a racist prick. I mean, for bears, it's understandable because, you know, bears are in fact one of the most ferocious beings in the animal kingdom because, you know, a single swipe from them can actually kill you, and they can maul your face off. Yeah, so just keep a good distance from them, because they are that terrifying. But birds, like, well, I mean, I don't know what walruses would have against birds, because I haven't studied that much on them either. So, I mean, if you want to tell me about it, you can. But there is also that orange Jinjo that we can't really jump up there as Walrus Banjo, unfortunately, because we can't really jump all that high up there. So that's why I came back over to Momosa to transform back into regular Banjo-Kazooie, so that way there we can use the flat flip jump to get to the orange Jinjo, and now we got the Jiggy. And yeah, I'm going over my totals right now. We have 9 out of 10 Jiggies, but first off, I want to show off something here. If you zoom in here, look at that! Oh, what is that, you may ask? That is, of course, the Ice Key. And it's actually one of those little things that, again, I will go over that a little later, but for now, we can't really access it because this wall of ice is blocking our way, and we can't really reach the Ice Key. But more on that a little later. I'll save all that for the bonus video. So anyways, so we have all the notes, we have all the empty honeycomb pieces, but we did not get all the Jiggies, because the last Jiggy is, of course, is that we have to race Boggy again, this time as regular Banjo and Kazooie. However, we actually can't do that, because, in order to be able to go through with it, we actually had to learn a certain move, which cannot be taught here. That will only be taught in the next world. And that will allow us to gain a faster feet, or just, or you know, just get some faster feet. So, because of that, we actually have to leave the world itself, and then we have to go to the next world, and then learn the move from there, and then after all that's done and done, then we go back to, then we go backtrack over to Freezeezy Peak just to get that Jiggy. And yeah, those are the running shoes right there. Those are actually what we need to, for the second race against Boggy, or the rematch against Boggy as regular Banjo-Kazooie. So yeah, we actually have to learn that move in the next world. Yeah, it's one of those weird things that Rare kind of did, in which it's actually the only thing to do so, where, unlike all the others where you just collect all 10 Jiggies, because, you know, we can only go through each of the worlds in one go, because of, you know, because of that score system for the music notes. This is the only instance, this is the only exception here, in which, we had to come back for that one Jiggy after we learn the move for the next world. So yeah, because of that, we are not quite done with Freezeezy Peak. I mean, we're done with everything else in there, just not that one Jiggy, so yeah, we'll come back to it, but for now, we're just going to go ahead and head over to our next world, which is where we can learn the next move, but we're going to have to complete the world first. So yeah, that's kind of the plan there. So anyways, next on Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie, we're going to be doing just that, just over to our next world. So until next time, see you guys later.